There was a lot of pressure on delegates at the latest meeting of the Syrian opposition coalition to agree, at least in theory, to take part in the so-called Geneva II peace talks. Also present at this Istanbul hotel were representatives of several European governments and the United States, all pushing for a yes. And in the end, a yes was what they got. But the conditions around the yes are so strict, some noted they were impossible for the other side, the Assad side, to agree to. The statement said the Syrian opposition will participate in a conference, but only if a transitional government that did not include ruling President Bashar al-Assad was set up, which included full presidential military and security powers, that full access into Syria was given to relief and humanitarian organizations. There was a release of all prisoners held by the regime, especially women and children. Any follower of the evolution of Syrian opposition policy will note that these conditions are not new. One Syrian delegate told me they'd arrived at this position by putting all previous international agreements into a blender. It references decisions made by the UN, by the Friends of Syria meeting in London in October, and is based on the original Kofi Annan Geneva I peace deal in March 2012. And herein lies one sticking point. The ruling Syrian regime has consistently rejected the idea of talks that insist that the regime removes itself. Another challenge is who enforces this opposition agenda for the talks. That task lies with the Americans and the Russians, according to the SNC. But the Russians won't like what the SNC has voted for either. And if the Russians don't support it...
It means that Geneva II will lead nowhere. I mean, Geneva is not the end, it's a mean. And if the Russians are serious, they will force their partner, the Syrian government, to go to Geneva and to agree to Geneva I.
Despite the possibility that this is as far as peace talks can get for now, there's still a sense of relief here. The international community is off the Syrian opposition's backs, and there was a rare near consensus. Many started this meeting opposed to going to Geneva at all. Anita, McNaught, Al Jazeera, Istanbul.